What's going on, everybody? I was asked to react to Cathie Wood's recent celebratory appearance on CNBC.
I'm back, bitches.
Her Bitcoin spot ETF has been approved, and given the fact that her 5-year time horizon was just pretty much belly up, in fact, the ARKK fund is down about 2.3% over the last 5 years.
We believe.
Bitcoin is kind of like her last-ditch effort to get as much inflows as possible.
I am not going to look down, Jesus. I am going to hold out my right hand. Please, take it.
And so she's given it everything she's got. Price forecast.
Is in the $600,000 range. Our bull case.
That is a, over the next 6 years, because she's talking about till 2030, that's a compounded annualized return of over 50%. So that's what Bitcoin's done in the last 10 years. So she's projecting that to continue for the next 6, which is, if we're using, she used the word base, so I'm going to use base rate. In the history of assets, how many assets have compounded at that rate over a 16-year period? Doesn't mean Bitcoin can't, but Cathie Wood is certainly incentivized to believe that it will.
And we think the probability of the bull case has increased with this SEC approval. This is a green light.
Green light.
Our bull case is $1.5 million by 2030. You can see the building blocks. You can see.
Okay, that's I think that's like 76% annualized return over the next 6 years. Not impossible, but she was saying $1 million like a year and a half ago. So
Our Bitcoin price target, which is more than $1 million per Bitcoin in 2030.
this is classic. Give me your money, please.
How conservative we are in terms of those building blocks. This is a big idea. It is the first global, decentralized, digital, rules-based, critical.
You know what else is a big idea was boxer briefs. That was a big idea.
There, rules-based monetary system in history. It is a very big idea.
By the way, look at
me
the
ask you
awkward
the
silence
separate
here.
question, which is,
She's
do
so
you
intense.
Is a very big idea.
And let me ask you the separate question, which is, do you believe that for it to get to those type of numbers, it has to become a currency, not just an asset? One of the things that Brian Armstrong was talking about is he thinks that this is just going to create a lot more interest in crypto across the board, and that is what's going to actually propel this and might even change the dynamic with which Bitcoin is being used, which is currently today as digital gold or something like that, but potentially actually could leapfrog into the currency that people have talked about for many years.
So this is a trick question. If she says yes, and I have not seen what she says, if she says yes, well, then that opens her up to say, to respond and say, well, I thought Bitcoin is going to go, to be 1.5 million per coin in your bull case here. So if that was the case, why would anyone want to use it as a currency? Because ultimately you would be paying for things and you'd be overpaying by orders of magnitude that are uncomfortable to think about.
Our first paper on this was in 2015. The white paper is still on our site.
Oh, okay.
And we tried to figure out, could Bitcoin serve the 3 roles of money? Store of value.
Okay, so she's not answering the question, and the reason I'm calling this out is this is a psychological tactic. I don't want to even call it a tactic, but it's something that we can easily be lured in by, which is someone like Cathie Wood is in the business. What helps her business is being perceived as an authority on something, particularly in her case, innovative new technology-ish.
The genomic space, the robotic space, energy storage, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology.
For her to answer and say, back in 2015, which is now almost 10 years ago, they were talking about Bitcoin, and their white paper is still on their site.
And it examines the convergence of artificial intelligence and Bitcoin. And you'll hear his nickname's roast beef on that podcast.
Did she just say his nickname is roast beef? Did I hear that right?
His nickname's roast beef. Talk about that convergence and how it's going to redefine the division of labor. It's probably going to put the gig economy on steroids.
What is she talking about?
And it's starting already in the emerging markets, in Africa in particular. So it's very exciting. I don't think people understand how hard at work the developers around the world have been. Lightning Network is...
Let me be clear. This is not at all a knock on people who are really innovating and doing, the real work on the blockchain, who are really, buying into Bitcoin, no pun intended, in the way that's, what Satoshi talked about in his white paper. People like Cathie Wood, they're in it for the fees. I mean, that's why I'm criticizing this. It's not about Bitcoin. It's not about the crypto community. Anyone that knows me knows I've actually been in that community and made money going all the way back to 2017. So I'm not at all some hater, but this is just so ridiculous to me that this woman is able to have such terrible performance and still come on here and act like she found electricity in the atmosphere and she's able to, harness it so for the betterment of all our societies. AI and the convergence, it's just, where there's mystery, there's margin. Her and her team make it sound like they've got some sort of answer that no one else has or some insight that no one else can discover through our research. And it's just bullshit.
Is a big part of leveraging the base layer Bitcoin. So we're very excited. And we're so happy that ARKB is going.
That's the voice of someone who felt like they were close to going out of business.
We're so happy that ARKB is going to be part of the ecosystem.
Guys, invest at your own risk. I don't know her personally. This is not an attack on her, but this is just calling it how I see it. We'll have more Cathie Wood content. Check out my Cathie Wood playlist, and I hope you'll subscribe and like this video. Please hit the notification bell as well. Your guys' support means a lot, and I appreciate it. So we'll talk soon.